Their friends are locked up, people have gotten killed. This is good for everybody. But some people have a problem with this. You have a problem with that.
You damn right.
Okay, explain.
Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning? Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning? Why did we have to go through so much shit for y'all niggas to feel like y'all gonna put the money first and y'all gonna come?
So peep this. Young Thug and YFN Lucci just got out of prison. These are two artists who'd been locked in a real war for years. Bodies dropped, families torn apart, and the entire city of Atlanta caught in the middle. And what do they do the moment they both touch down? They're in the club together, hugging, smiling, moving like the last 10 years never even happened. But here's where it gets crazy. While Thug and Lucci are playing buddy-buddy, there's one person who is not feeling this sudden peace at all. Lil Woody. The same Lil Woody who allegedly put in serious work for YSL. The same Woody who's been accused in the streets of being involved in the killing of a man named Peanut and somehow never seeing the inside of a jail cell. Now, Woody is furious, talking reckless, and the word on the street is that this so-called peace might actually reignite the beef all over again. To understand why Lil Woody is crashing out right now, you've got to understand just how deep the YSL versus YFN war really was. This wasn't Twitter beef, this wasn't subliminal bars and songs. This was real gang warfare that had Atlanta in a chokehold for nearly a decade. And believe it or not, Thug and Lucci weren't always enemies. At one point, they were cool, both coming up in the Atlanta rap scene, both getting money, both building their names. But somewhere along the way, that friendship turned into one of the most violent rap feuds the city has ever seen. Lil Woody was allegedly one of Thug's most loyal riders, YSL through and through, always ready to move when it was time. And based on what came out during the YSL RICO trial, Woody was tied to some heavy street activity. The most shocking allegation was his involvement in Peanut's killing, which was reportedly connected to the ongoing YSL-YFN war. Bodies were dropping on both sides, the feds were watching closely, and the whole situation was spiraling out of control. Yet somehow, Woody walked free and kept it pushing. Eventually, the federal pressure caught up. Both Thug and Lucci ended up locked up on RICO charges. Thug was facing life, Lucci was looking at decades. Everyone was waiting to see who would flip first. But while sitting behind bars, fighting for their lives in court, something unexpected happened. Both men reportedly realized that the war, everything it cost them, just wasn't worth it anymore. Families were destroyed, lives were lost, and they both ended up in prison. Thug eventually took a plea deal after one of the longest trials in Georgia history. Lucci worked out his own situation, and one by one, they both walked free. The streets were watching closely, wondering what would happen next. Would the beef pick right back up? Would shots fly the second they crossed paths? Nobody expected what came next. A video hit the internet showing Young Thug and YFN Lucci in the same club, not just in the same room, but actually hanging out, being friendly, moving like brothers who reconnected after years apart. For some people, it was growth, it was maturity. Two men choosing peace after surviving hell. Atlanta needed that moment. The culture needed it. But for Lil Woody, that moment felt like betrayal. Woody didn't hold back. He went on DJ Vlad's platform and let everything out. From the jump, you could tell he was heated. When Vlad brought up the video and talked about how good it was for Atlanta, Woody snapped. He questioned why this couldn't have happened from the start, why so much blood had to be spilled, why people had to lose their lives just for the leaders to suddenly decide peace and money mattered more. In Woody's eyes, this wasn't growth, it was disrespect. And now the streets are watching closely, because when the people who put in the most work feel abandoned, that's when things can turn dangerous fast.
This is good for everybody. But some people have a problem with this. You have a problem with that.
You damn right.
Okay, explain.
Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning? Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning? Why did we have to go through so much shit for y'all niggas to feel like y'all gonna put the money first and y'all gonna come together? Y'all could have been squashed the beef. Y'all could have been came together a long time ago. Y'all could have. But now y'all saying, man, this shit ain't about... Bro, you know how many people sitting in jail for the rest of their life behind this shit? You know how many families that still broken behind this shit? You damn right. I come from this environment, Vlad. I come from here.
Listen to the hurt in his voice, fam. Woody ain't just talking, he's bleeding through his words. He's speaking on people doing life behind his beef, families still shattered, and young dudes who either ended up dead or buried alive in prison. All that damage, all that pain, and now Thug and Lucci moving like it's nothing but love. That's what really set him off. Woody kept going saying, I come from this environment, making it clear this wasn't entertainment to him. This was real life, real loss, and consequences that don't just disappear because two bosses decided to shake hands.
I didn't want to go to war with people. I didn't want to have people as enemies. I wanted to be friends with a lot of them because we was friends. See, a lot of y'all don't understand. We wasn't never always enemies. We were friends at a point. Lucha is not an enemy to me. I could go out this door right now and see Lucha and keep going about my business. I'm not here to try to tear nobody down. But at the end of the day, man, y'all so selfish that y'all showed the world how selfish y'all live.
This hit different for real, because Woody was exposing something the culture hates to face. These rap beefs don't just affect the rappers at the top. It's the shooters, the foot soldiers, the people on the ground doing the dirty work who end up paying the real price. And when the bosses finally decide to make peace, you gotta ask, what about everyone who already sacrificed everything? But here's where Woody really dropped the bomb. He revealed that he had already spoken with Young Thug about ending the beef before all of this went down. According to Woody, he told Thug straight up, man, this ain't about nothing. I'm gonna go over there, talk to these dudes, and squash this. That moment changed the whole narrative.
That's why I feel some type of way. It's fake. Because me and Thug had conversation where I told Thug, like, man, look, bro, for real, bro, this shit ain't about nothing. I told this nigga this shit ain't about nothing. I told this nigga I'm gonna go over here and talk to these niggas and squash this shit.
According to Woody, the other side was actually willing to sit down and squash it. They weren't scared. They were ready for peace because everybody knew Atlanta was supposed to be about getting money, not going to war. But instead of choosing that path, things spiraled into an all-out war. And now, after all the deaths, all the prison time, all the families left broken, now they want to act like it's all love. Woody summed it up perfectly. He basically said, y'all in the club partying, talking about peace now, just because y'all went to trial and everybody ended up flipping on you? Man, come on.
But they willing to sit down and squash it because everybody like, man, we Atlanta, we known for getting money. We ain't trying to go to war, but it's an all-out war. A whole lot of families hurting. Whole lot of young men don't lost their life to death, and jail. And y'all niggas in the club party? Talking about because y'all went to trial and everybody flipped on y'all?
Now, this is where people really started connecting the dots and the situation got even messier. Fam, Vlad brought up something that a lot of people already had in the back of their minds. When Thug and Lucci were seen together in that club, folks couldn't help but remember that, at the height of the beef, Lucci's mom was allegedly shot at.
That people pointed out when they were hanging out in the club together was that Lucci's mom was allegedly.
How do you end up cool with someone after they allegedly had shots fired at your own mom? That's the question everybody was asking. Woody's response was measured, but it hit hard. He said the first time Lucci's mom's house got shot up, Lucci was actually on a promo run in Tampa. Right before he was about to hit the stage, he got the call. Around 15 shots had been fired at his mother's house. Thankfully, nobody was hit. But still, at the end of the day, that's your mama.
On the promo tour, I was in Tampa. I was actually about to go right on the stage, and then they called me like the house got shot up. I did my performance, then we hit the road and went back home because I had to go check on my mama. Everything was good though. Ain't nobody get hit or nothing.
How many shots were there?
I don't know, probably like.
Then Woody brought up something that made the whole situation even messier. The song. Thug had a line that said, I shot at his mommy, now he don't mention me. Now, Woody was real careful with how he spoke on this. He said Thug never actually named anyone in that bar, and it was really the internet that connected the dots and assumed it was about Lucci. And Woody also made a point to clarify something else. From his understanding, Thug himself never shot at anybody's mom. If anything like that happened, it would have been somebody else, not Thug pulling the trigger himself.
Did he say who mom he shot at?
No, he did not.
So people just take things and try to investigate and try to make it what it is. From my understanding, Thug ain't never shot at no.
But here's the real issue, fam. In street politics, it don't even matter who actually pulled the trigger. If you the boss, If you the one calling the shots, then you responsible for whatever your people do. That's just how it goes. So when folks see Thug and Lucci posted up together after all this, after the alleged shootings at family members, after friends lost their lives, after years fighting cases, it don't sit right. It feels staged, like a business decision, not real reconciliation. And Woody wasn't buying it at all. He made that clear. He said he don't have anything against Lucci, and he loves Thug too. No hate toward either one of them. But what he doesn't respect is the way this whole situation was handled.
Thug, I love Lucci too. I don't got nothing against neither one of them brothers. But I just don't like the simple fact how they handle this.
For Woody, there's a clear difference between squashing a beef and acting like best friends. He said if Thug and Lucci came home and simply agreed to end the violence, that would have been major. That would have meant something. But publicly hanging out together after everything that went down, that's a whole different story. In his mind, you can't just erase years of bloodshed and pain like it never happened. He basically questioned it like, you really think I'm about to be posted up with somebody when we've been out here going at it, people losing their lives and families getting destroyed? That kind of move didn't feel genuine to him at all.
I did an interview before then. I was like, if Thug and Lucci come home and they squash beef, that'd be big. I said squash the beef. I ain't say hang out. You think I'm finna hang with one of these niggas and we been out here trying to, you feel me? Nah, man, that ain't how that go. It ain't no bad blood, but we ain't cool.
The fallout from this interview has been wild, fam. The streets are split. On one side, people respect what Thug and Lucci are doing. They say these two men grew up, learned from their mistakes, and chose peace over violence. They argue this is exactly what hip-hop needs: less beef, more unity, more money spent on building, not lawyers or funerals. Both Thug and Lucci went through hell in prison, facing RICO charges that could have kept them locked up for life. They watched friends flip, lost people they loved, and survived the worst of the streets. If they can move forward, who are we to judge? On the other side, you've got people like Woody saying it's disrespectful to everyone who already paid the price. People serving life, families burying sons, soldiers left scarred by the war their leaders started. And now, the very people who sparked all this act like it never happened. Social media is buzzing. Some call Woody a hater, others say he's speaking the truth no one else dares. But here's where it gets dangerous. Woody is speaking reckless. Talking real street business in public has consequences. He's basically saying the peace between YSL and YFN is fake, disrespectful to those who put in work, and calling out the leaders for being selfish. In street politics, that talk can reignite conflicts people thought were over. Woody isn't just a random voice. He's allegedly been deep in the trenches, put in work, and earned respect. People listen when he speaks. This exposes some truths about gang life that rarely get discussed. When the bosses fight, soldiers do the dying. When the bosses make peace, the soldiers are often left behind, still traumatized, still locked up, still facing enemies while the leaders move on. Woody represents those who can't just flip a switch and be cool. He put bodies on the line, allegedly took a life, and lives with that weight. A photo of the bosses shaking hands doesn't erase that. It also highlights the complexity of loyalty. Woody is loyal to Thug, but that same loyalty makes him question Thug's decisions. Real internal conflict. When the person you rode for makes moves you don't agree with, what do? And it reminds us how outsiders consume hip-hop beef as entertainment. Seeing Thug and Lucci together looks like growth to viewers. But for those who lived it, lost friends, or went to prison, it hits differently. Behind every rap beef are real people paying real consequences. Right now, tension is high. Lil Woody's interview blew up. Millions heard him challenge the peace. Thug and Lucci have stayed silent, possibly to avoid making it bigger or out of respect for differing opinions. Silence can be interpreted many ways: maturity or dismissiveness. Meanwhile, Woody breaking the ice could embolden others to speak their minds, potentially reigniting tensions everyone thought were gone. Both Thug and Lucci are still on probation. They can't afford drama, but Woody and others off paper feeling disrespected are the wild card. That's what makes this situation dangerous. At the heart of it, this teaches us something about the culture we're in. Peace is complicated. Forgiveness is necessary but hard. Moving on is smart, but it doesn't erase the past. Woody is asking questions that deserve answers. How do you make peace when so many already paid the ultimate price? How do you ask soldiers to move on when the generals switched sides? There aren't easy answers. The culture needs more conversations like this about the real impact of beefs, the people caught in the middle, the pain behind the photos. For Thug and Lucci, hopefully they've grown and are committed to breaking the cycle of violence. For Woody, hopefully he finds peace and heals from the trauma, anger, and confusion he's carrying. And for everyone watching, remember, these are real lives, real pain, real consequences, not just YouTube content. The streets are watching. Is this the end of the YSL and YFN beef, or is Lil Woody about to spark a new chapter? Only time will tell. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Woody was right to call out the peace treaty, or should Thug and Lucci be left alone? Hit like, subscribe if you haven't, and remember, real recognize real, but real also knows when it's time to let go. Peace.